Hey guys, welcome back. Without being too much of a fearmonger, I felt like there were quite a few things going on in the world that I kind of wanted to talk about today. And if you don't feel like hearing about all that kind of stuff, you can fast forward to the haul video, which is at the end of this little spiel that I'm doing. Yeah, lots of stuff going on in the world right now. While I was working today, I kind of wrote up my little idea of what I was going to talk about, because I tend to get like jumbled with my words and then it doesn't come out clearly. So I wrote this up and I'm going to read it to you. And all those words that I have circled right there, I'm not going to say, because you can't say certain things on YouTube apparently. Just watch, they'll figure it out, and this video will get 0 views. Okay, so historically, anytime the US has been on the verge of economic collapse, we tend to throw ourselves into a conflict, a WAR, because WAR is a great driver for the economy. It gives them an excuse to print more and more money, just endless stacks of money. So I just found this out 5 days ago or something, but tomorrow we're going to hit our debt ceiling again. Being 1 day away from hitting our debt ceiling, what if this time they don't raise it? We always just assume that they will raise the debt ceiling and everything will be fine, like it always has been. We just assume that they're going to do it, right? And in my lifetime, I have seen countless times it's a big like deal. They're going to reach the debt limit, and then they just raise it. And it's like, oh, okay, not that bad. Well, how many times can we continue to do that without consequence? With everything that is going on with, I'm going to put a pop-up right here, and the other countries trying to get away from the US dollar and selling their US debt and buying real assets like gold, this could be a breaking point for the Federal Reserve and for US debt. And our whole economy is based off of debt. We continuously borrow and print money and borrow and print money, which is the same thing. But that's the only way that we continue this charade. It's like a house of cards. We just keep on doing the same cycle over and over again, and it can't continue forever. It really can't. With all of that going on in the world, it would be a great time for a conflict to escalate, wouldn't it? Recently, at this place, there's going to be a pop-up that they meet at every year. This old fart said that UKR should be accepted into this organization, NATO, and we, the United States and that organization literally cannot let our country win. We can't. And we will not stop this conflict until UKR is seen as victorious, because if we don't help them to be victorious, how do you be victorious in war? People are dying. It would upset the balance of the world and set a precedence for other countries to invade their borders. If UKR is fast-tracked into that organization, NATO, then our country will definitely have to retaliate. If they don't act immediately, we'll push them to. We'll push them to retaliate or act. And it might not be in the form of nuclear, like a lot of people are kind of pushing. It might be a cyber attack. And if that cyber attack does not come from our country, it could easily be blamed on them, because you read in the news every day, every other day, the term "our country hackers." It's like this coined term that you hear all the time now. So how easy would it be if something were to happen and it wasn't them, to blame it on them, to start a conflict? If there was a cyber attack on the grid, the banking systems, and particularly the banking systems, you'll have no access to your money. And who knows for how long. So I pray to God that you've listened to preppers all across our community that are imploring you and pushing you to prep and stock up on food, supplies, medical, protection, all that kind of stuff. And I really do hope that mainly you have food in your house, because that's the number one thing. Make sure you have a small stash, at least a little bit of cash, because if you can't access your banks, how are you going to do anything? I mean, and who knows if people are even going to be accepting cash if that kind of a thing happens. So the whole banking system, grid kind of shuts down, POS systems are down, that kind of thing. So, you know, make sure you have other things to barter. Food makes a great bartering item. And then lastly, I don't talk about this too much, but it is something that I do personally. If you have money in the bank, and you are well stashed on food, medical supplies, your off-grid power, off-grid cooking, all that kind of stuff, and you still have a little bit of money in the bank, convert some of it. Not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, but this is what I do. Convert some of it to gold and silver, because gold and silver is still a currency and it will still hold value, and you will still be able to trade it, barter it, cash it in if the entire banking system goes down, or if the US dollar crashes. So imagine that happens. The organization, NATO, gets involved, and we're pushed into a conflict, a full-blown WAR. And then we're in a WAR economy. Resources will be limited. There's going to be shortages, layoffs, economic devastation. And I don't think this is going to be a small one. I don't think this is one that's going to end quick. I actually wish that I could find the comment from almost a year ago now, where I was talking about this conflict in UKR, and somebody had commented, oh, stop hyping it up, stop worrying about it, this will be over in 2 weeks. Well, that's not so much true. We're a year into it now, and it only seems to be escalating. So if we were drawn into some kind of conflict and the results happened to be that there was a cyber attack on the banking system, the grid, or something like that, this would be the perfect excuse for the powers that be to bring in the, I don't know if I'm allowed to say even this one, so I'll do a pop-up. It's a new currency that they so desperately want to usher in. The name of their game is Order Out of Chaos. And in the chaos and the wake of some kind of major catastrophic cyber attack like this, amongst and during a conflict, there will be complete devastation. And they can make themselves the heroes by restoring the banking system, by restoring your money that just disappeared, and offering this new system just to, you know, bring order. They will call it order out of chaos. The supply chain will be ruined. The, you know, food supply, economic, infrastructure, job loss, all that kind of stuff. And out of that chaos, they will bring in something new. Anyway, that's just something to think about. Hopefully I said that clearly enough for you to understand, but kind of all the cards are falling into place for something like this to happen. And all these things that are happening in different places are kind of cohesive in a way. But anyway, let's get on to the haul, because like I said, food is the most important thing. So let me show you what I got. Okay, here's the haul, and this is probably a couple weeks worth of groceries, just going in and grabbing a couple extra things here and there with my regular grocery trip. And I do want you guys to know that I do not eat canned foods 24/7, all day, every week. This is not like my complete diet. I do eat fresh food, fresh fruits and vegetables and meats. But in order to keep prepping, I like to work a few canned goods into my normal recipes and make some canned good recipes a couple times a week just to cycle through it. And that also gives me the opportunity to test my preps and figure out what I like and don't like, which you should definitely be doing. I learned that the hard way. Just got a box of saltines, got some more mayo and ketchup, some popcorn. Now, these might not be considered preps, but imagine a situation where everything goes to utter chaos, grocery store shelves are cleared, everybody's panicking, and you can't get those normal things that you like just the comfort foods like popcorn. You want to have those things that you normally go through in your house at all times, and a good supply of it. Got a big pack of cheese grits, 2 things of oil. Oil does not last super long, so I don't stock it very heavily, but, you know, I'll keep like 2 to 4 bottles depending on, you know, how often I'm using it. I don't keep very much. on hand because it'll go rancid. Got some salsa. Somehow wound up with 3 of these giant things of collard greens. I don't think I meant to buy that many, but I'm going to make some black-eyed peas and collard greens here coming up soon. And I found a recipe that I really like and kind of tweaked it to use canned goods. And I made collard greens and black-eyed peas for some people at work and brought it in. And a lot of people were like, oh, that was so good. What was the recipe? And I kind of laughed to myself because quite a bit of the recipe was canned goods and you would never know it. It was amazing. I love it, and I make it quite often now. So I got a whole bunch of black-eyed peas. Another thing, I don't want to make this video too long, but I don't normally get other brands. I usually just get the generic Great Value brand, but they didn't have this the first grocery shopping trip, so they replaced it with this. And I let it go that time as a replacement, but what is really making me angry is that Walmart changed their policy, and if they substitute something that was on your list for pickup, they don't give you the cheaper price. Like, these are much cheaper. Normally, if they substituted it with these, I would pay this price for it. They don't do that anymore. You're paying the higher price. So who's to tell that they're not just grabbing the higher priced items, throwing it in the bag, and saying they didn't have the lower priced items? I'm sure they don't do that, but they could if they wanted to. Anyway, got some soups. I got some tomato soup, some more chunky soups here, like 4 chunky soups. Those are always good things to have, especially for emergency situations. Chunky soups are easy to stretch. You can add rice to it, you can add pasta to it, you can put it over biscuits. It's easy, good calories, and easy to stretch. Got some more cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, because I had used quite a bit of that during the holidays for cooking. More beefaroni for my son. And then, what did I get? A couple cans of whole potatoes, which I love to have on hand. Every once in a while for breakfast, I'll take these, I'll chop them in halves, toss them in some olive oil and seasoning, and then air fry them, and they make like a home style potato, like breakfast potato, and it's really good. And some more yams, and then a whole bunch of Great Northern beans. I guess I'm going to be making some white chicken chili soon. Paper plates, don't judge me. I don't want to be doing dishes all the time. Single mom, that's enough said, right? And then I got 4 of these things of propane, which it pains me to buy these days because 2 of these are $10, and they used to be like $7 or so. But it is something I need to have on hand. One for my buddy heater, which it's not been too terribly cold, but you know, if the power went out a few days ago when we had that super cold snap, I would have been happy to have it. And then also for my cooking stove. And then foil. Foil's always good to have on hand. Storage bags, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. I just like to keep these things stocked up. And I guess that's about it. Yes, guys, please keep an eye on everything that's going on. It feels like there's an escalation of kind of everything happening. World economy, U.S. economy, our debt limit, all that kind of stuff. And they're moving all of this stuff in one direction, and most of you know what that one direction is, and we need to be prepared for it. I might be crazy. I probably am crazy, but you know what I won't be if things go really bad? I won't be hungry, for a little while at least. And hopefully you guys are doing the same, so we can be crazy but not hungry together. I'll see you in the next video.